My name is Aida, and my life took a dark turn when I met Roly, my brother's ex-best friend. I married Roly, hoping for a better and more joyful life because that is what he promised me. And I guess promises are meant to be broken. Instead of a tranquil garden, I was welcomed with a hellhole place built to torture and torment me. I grew up looking up to my brother Justin. He became one of my protectors, aside from my father. He truly loved me as he cared for me most of the time when we were young, and even now that I am older, he never failed to show affection towards me. His brotherly love was indeed a pillar in me. He became my role model and my superhero. Growing up, I knew a few of his friends, and one of them was Roly. It had been engraved in me that the two were almost always together. They were like brothers to each other. Their bond was a sight to behold, and even I wished that one day I would have that kind of friendship with someone. And I did. Bianca was my best friend. I met her during my elementary years as we were classmates. She was the first person who talked to me, and she was also the reason why my social anxiety was gone. We enjoyed lots of things together. We shared the same hobbies and a keen interest in sports. Both of us were cyclists. We both have a thirst for extreme adventures, and as we grew older, this hobby became our passion. I was inspired to be a cyclist by Justin. I saw him and Roly cycle all the time. I grew interested in it because I was so amazed by it. And perhaps this is why I had a crush on Roly. Yes, he was my childhood crush, which somehow remained until I reached high school. I even daydreamed of us being together in the future. Oh, how I wish I had not. Thanks to our shared hobbies, my brother started to get to know Bianca very well. In just a few months, they went out with each other. I became one of their biggest supporters, and I couldn't ask for a lovelier couple than them. However, there were dark secrets behind the romance of it all. Justin and Roly used to be inseparable. Never in my young mind would I ever have thought that the two of them would break the bond. But I was wrong. Everything changed when Roly briefly went out with my best friend, causing a rift between him and my brother. In short, Roly betrayed my brother, and Bianca, my best friend, cheated on my brother with him. When I found out about the affair, I didn't know what to feel. The pain in me was overwhelming. I was betrayed as well. I didn't know what hurt the most. Was it that my brother had been cheated on, or that my long-time crush was dating my best friend? Ironically, Bianca knew very well the feelings I was harbouring for Roly. In fact, she was the only person to know, and it felt like she used that information to hurt me even more. I never expected that this conflict would be the onset of a life-changing event. It seemed like a foreshadowing of what had to come. And so, my brother and Roly got into a severe fight and decided to end their friendship, as well as my brother's relationship with Bianca. He renounced any romantic involvement with her. I tried my best not to hate Bianca, but we started to grow apart when she decided to move to another city. What hurt the most was that she never apologized to me about the incident. It was my first heartbreak, brought to me by my best friend and my first love. Sometimes I still wish I could turn back time and tell my naive self to get it together, because they weren't worth the tears I had shed for them. I was a strong young girl, though. I did not let one heartbreak set me back for too long. I matured to be an independent and strong woman with ambitions and aspirations. I focused on my studies because I aimed to become a doctor, and yet my love for cycling remained the same. During my college years, I crossed paths with Roly again when he transferred to my university. Both of us were members of the cycling team, and to my surprise, he had transformed immensely. I have to admit the most noticeable change was that he became even more attractive. And yes, I acknowledge that I slightly caught feelings again. However, I never intended to get close to Roly again and kept a distance from him. However, fate knew how to twist everything around. I tried my best to subdue the slight crush I had on him again, but this time he was so friendly towards me, unlike when we were young, when he would ignore me as if I did not exist. He would smile at me, talk to me casually, and even give me very thoughtful compliments. He didn't seem like the Roly that I used to know, and this new person made me draw close to him. As Roly and I grew closer, I began to believe that he was not all bad, and he honestly confessed to me that he regretted everything that happened. He admitted that he was once a jerk and a fool to hurt me and my brother. He even longed for the day that they would reconcile. My brother, however, continued to disapprove of our friendship. When he knew about Roly, he was so angry at me. He reminded me of the terrible things that Roly did to us. My feelings were clear, but no matter how much I tried to explain that Roly had changed, Justin wouldn't believe it. "He will always be a jerk, Aida." "No, I am telling you, he is a good guy now. He treats me so well." I tried to hold Justin's hands, but he shoved them away. "He betrayed me. He hurt you too, in case you forgot." I heaved a deep sigh. "Yes, I know, but he regretted it already. He feels sorry for it." Justin just scoffed. "Huh, feels sorry? My ass. I know that man. He's cunning and manipulative. He's just fooling you. Wake up, Aida. I thought you were wiser than this." I had had enough of him trying to push me away from Roly because of his vendetta, so I walked away. After that, I confessed my feelings to Roly, and he said that he was in love with me too. So we officially became a couple. We started to date in public, and our relationship was quite controversial to our friends. Some were supportive of us, but most didn't approve of it because of Roly's questionable personality. But still, we did not listen to any of them. We both knew our hearts, and we made clear our feelings. And I was sure that we were really for each other. So our relationship flourished, and we were both growing in the process. For me, it was a healthy relationship, but only because I was too naive to see the red flags. I felt happiness like never before, oblivious to the nightmare ahead. I was genuinely lured into Roly's trap. I was so unaware of everything. He continued to pursue me and showed me that he had indeed changed. He promised that if I chose him for the rest of my life, it would be worth it. After college, he proposed to me. It was during our graduation dinner when he popped the question. With a charming smile, he held out a velvet box, and then he knelt before me. My eyes widened, and my heart started to pump so fast. "Aida, my love, for the moment I saw you, I knew you were the one. Today, under this starlit sky, I want to make you a promise of a perfect life together. I will never make you cry. I will never let you feel less of yourself." I blushed as I heard him say all those words. It was very unexpected of him, but his efforts moved me immensely. "Roly, you've already made my life better. What more could I ask for?" He smiled at me and opened the velvet box, revealing an extravagant diamond ring. My eyes widened in amazement, and I felt a surge of emotions I'd never known before. "This ring, my dear, is just the beginning. I promise you a beautiful life where every day will feel like a fairy tale. We'll have a mansion that overlooks the ocean and a private beach where the waves will serenade us each morning. I know I can give it to you, my love, because you deserve all of it. I will always be loyal and devoted to you, I promise that." My eyes widened in disbelief. "A mansion? Really?" He nodded with a twinkle in his eye. "And that's not all. We'll have personal chefs who'll prepare our favourite gourmet meals, a closet filled with designer dresses, and a private jet to take us to exotic destinations wherever we desire. No more worries or hardships, just endless joy and comfort. I will do everything to give this to you, I promise you. Roly, this all sounds too good to be true. Everything seemed impossible to achieve, but when he took my hand, he reminded me that everything would fall into place, assuring me that all was well. But it is true, my love, and most importantly, I promise you a love so deep it'll move mountains. Together we'll conquer, and nothing will ever stand in our way. I felt the tears falling down my eyes. Roly, I don't know what to say. He slipped the ring onto my finger. Say yes, Aida. I smiled through the tears running down my cheeks. Yes, Roly, yes, 1,000 times yes. We shared a passionate kiss, and for a moment, everything seemed perfect. Little did I know that this proposal was the beginning of a grand deception that would shatter my dreams. A luxury, lovely, and peaceful life? Oh, that was all crap. I wished I knew better. The moment my brother knew about the proposal, he disowned me. My parents were also against our union. They thought that it was unreasonable for Roly to pressure me into marrying him after only 5 months of dating. For my parents, it was a complete red flag. We were not able to get to know ourselves better, and our relationship was moving too fast. But still, everything went precisely how Roly planned it. We got married, even though I did not receive the blessings of my family. Still, they went to my wedding, and it only consisted solely of my relatives, and none of Roly's were there. He said that most of them had migrated abroad already, which was true at the time. Yet, despite everything, I followed what my heart desired, and we settled down. However, as time passed, Roly became controlling, and his anger issues started to resurface. The first sign was that he demanded a substantial sum of money from my family, and he became lazy too. I was working tirelessly to provide for us, while he idled away his time. One night, I was sitting on the couch, looking worried, as I watched Roly wander around the room. Roly, you've been home all day. Aren't you going to work or do something productive? I asked in a very concerning voice. Work? Why bother with that when I have you? I was so confused by his answer. What do you mean? Aida, I've been thinking, it's about time you started taking care of everything financially. I was shocked by the way he casually delivered it. Didn't he promise me a luxurious life? What? But we're supposed to share responsibilities, Roly. Well, you see, I've got bigger plans. I need money to invest in some ventures. And since you have a good job, it only makes sense for you to pay for everything. Roly, this isn't fair. I can't carry all the financial burden on my own. Come on, Aida. You love me. This is the least you can do to prove it. I was so angry at what he was trying to make me do. Love doesn't mean I have to be your cash cow. What happened to our partnership? You've told me that we will have a luxurious life. This isn't luxury. I have better things to do in my time, and your money will make it all possible. No, Roly. I won't let you take advantage of me like this. It's time you start contributing too. Fine. Have it your way, but don't expect me to be happy about it. I stood my ground, refusing to let Roly freeload off my hard work any longer. But the horror worsened when I caught him cheating multiple times. But he was not even guilty about it. He was proud. I was so close to signing divorce papers when I discovered that fate had a different plan for me. I was pregnant, and it was unplanned. I was carrying Roly's child. Everything went downhill from there with Roly. He said that he'd change, but only if I got an abortion, and that he only wanted me, not the baby. But one good thing happened during that time. Amid the turmoil, my brother and I reconciled when he discovered I was pregnant. For me to have a healthy pregnancy, he decided to make things a lot easier for me, and he pledged to free me from this wretched life with Roly. I wanted to keep the baby, which went against what Roly was hoping for. As time went by, Roly did not stop tormenting me. Having failed to press an abortion on me, he started accusing me of cheating and carrying a baby that was not his. And, expectedly, he did not accept the baby after I gave birth. Roly's suspicions led him to kick me out of our home with our baby, as he was somehow convinced the child wasn't his. Yet he was the only man I had ever been with.
Go away, Aida, and take that filthy child with you, and don't you ever say that that baby is mine. You are a cheating bullshit whore.
My entire body was shaking as he was dragging me out of the house, clutching in my arms our baby. "Roly, please, stop this nonsense!" He shoved us to the ground, and our clothes were torn apart as he dragged my hair and slapped me. And then he knocked us out. I had no choice but to run to my brother for help. "Justin, help!" I shouted as I banged on the door. As soon as he opened it, his eyes widened in disbelief. "What happened? Why are your clothes torn apart?" I told him everything that happened with Roly. He punched the wall in frustration. He promised me that he would get revenge on my behalf. Before confronting Roly, my brother contacted someone who might help us stand up against him, Bianca. At first, I was so confused as to why, but Justin told me that he had a feeling she might know something, perhaps a piece of information that we could use against Roly. She arrived with a baby, and I was so shocked. She revealed that she and Roly were still together. She believed he had been working abroad all this time, which was why he was never home with her. But in reality, he had been using me for my money. Do you know what for? To support his little family. What a complete idiot. And to make it worse, he was not even supporting Bianca and the baby financially anymore. Bianca revealed to me that she suspected Roly had found a wealthier woman to use. Bianca and I reconciled, and we decided to take revenge against the man who caused all of our misery, Roly. I wasn't going to let Roly off the hook easily. He had brought so much pain and suffering into my life that I couldn't simply forgive and forget. My brother and I had a plan, one that would make Roly face the consequences of his actions. Justin decided to make Roly's abuse known to the world. He set up his camera and recorded Bianca and me as we talked about our experience. Then he posted the video online, and overnight, the video reached thousands of views. It went viral on the internet right away. It didn't take long for the world to see the truth about him. People were outraged by his behaviour, and countless individuals shared the video. Roly's reputation crumbled, and he faced public humiliation on a massive scale. "He is a master manipulator. There is a legal consequence for him. Sue him." "He deserves to be in jail. He is a terrible monster." "I couldn't believe people were capable of doing this. They deserve to be punished." "My father is a police officer and my uncle is a lawyer. I will forward this case to them." "Do not worry, ladies. We rally behind your backs. You will get justice." We were overwhelmed by the public's comments. Their support genuinely gave us the confidence to go against Roly. And then, not long after that, he came rushing to our home, and he saw me, Bianca, and my brother together. He knelt with tears in his eyes. "I have made mistakes, but I don't deserve this humiliation. Please take it down." "You tricked us. You lied to us. You used us. Please, don't make my life miserable." "And you think you didn't make my life miserable? It was a living hell, Roly. I chose you over my family, and now this is what you did to me. You deserve to rot in jail." He burst into tears and pleaded for his life. "I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Please." But that was just the beginning. We knew that hitting him where it hurt the most would be the most satisfying revenge. And then Bianca revealed an even bigger crime that Roly had committed. Roly had been stealing from Bianca's parents, saying that he needed it for his business ventures. So, with that, we contacted a lawyer and started legal proceedings to ensure that Roly would be held accountable for his actions. I filed for divorce and I sought full custody of our child, providing evidence of his neglect and abuse. Throughout the legal battle, Roly tried to portray himself as the victim and ironically sued me back for ruining his public image with the video. But the evidence was overwhelmingly against him. My brother and I were determined to see this through, and we had the support of my family every step of the way. As the court proceedings continued, the truth about Roly's financial exploitation of Bianca's parents came to light. We presented bank records, text messages, and other evidence that showed how he had drained our finances while he lived a lavish lifestyle. The court ordered him to repay every penny he had taken from mine and Bianca's family. Roly's world was crashing down around him. He had lost his reputation, marriage, and financial security. It was a long and challenging road, but we knew justice was finally being served. The legal battle concluded with Roly facing substantial financial penalties and a restraining order to keep him away from me and our child. Throughout it all, I remained firm. We fought for what was right. I had the support of my family and the satisfaction of knowing that Roly had been held accountable for his actions. Bianca and I reconciled, knowing that we had both learned our lesson the hard way. We're happier than ever now, and our babies will grow up to be the best of friends.
On that day, I was having dinner at a restaurant with a friend. Suddenly, the lights in the restaurant dimmed and romantic music began to play. A waiter carrying a bouquet of roses started walking towards a couple seated at a table. Before long, surrounded by the other patrons and staff, the man spoke. "I will make you happy forever. Please marry me." "Yes!" When the camera pointed towards the man in the celebratory mood, I could hardly close my mouth. It was my husband. The next moment, I clapped loudly and said in the loudest voice, "Hope you can make it work this time. I am Jennifer Smith, a 33-year-old office worker. I met Rick, my husband, at work and we got married 3 years ago. The proposal I received at a restaurant with a view of the night skyline, along with a bouquet of roses, is a memory I will cherish forever. We, both during dating and after marriage, did not want to reveal our private lives at the workplace, so we didn't wear rings, and I kept using my maiden name. I hated the idea of my personal life affecting my job, and Rick probably didn't want to be perceived as someone who played around moderately because he wasn't very good at his job. Therefore, except for the personnel department, no one knew about our relationship. And we, as a married couple, don't have children yet. We do have a desire to have children, but we believe it's practically tough. Honestly, it's because of Rick's low salary. I was promoted a few months ago, but Rick remains in a position lower than mine. Moreover, it seems Rick harbors resentment regarding this, and since I was promoted and moved to another department, the atmosphere has become somewhat tense. Discussions about work have diminished between us, and we, who used to consult each other about anything work-related at any time, have, on the flip side, run out of things to talk about. Adding to that, my work has become busier and I tend to return home late, which has increased my instances of irritation due to fatigue. Furthermore, Rick's department seems to be understaffed until a replacement temp arrives because I left, making him often in a bad mood. As a result, we tend to argue whenever we see each other. Of course, I want to resolve things amicably, but it's a fact that Rick's behavior is exacerbating my irritation. Because despite coming home earlier than me, he doesn't do any household chores at all. Today as well, when I returned home, there were only empty beer cans that he had cracked open without a toast and leftover snacks staring sadly at me from the table. Rick himself was hidden in the shadows of the sofa, enveloped in the cool breeze of the air conditioner. There he is, sleeping in such a place again. Must be nice. Recalling how he got angry when I woke him up last time, saying he was sleeping so comfortably, I started preparing dinner for one without waking him up. Then, he woke up to the noise. I fell asleep. It's cold. I'll catch a cold. Hey, if you're home, wake me up. Annoyed by his first words, I couldn't help but retort. What? That's your responsibility, isn't it? Besides, you got mad last time I woke you up because you were sleeping so comfortably, remember? As expected, Rick fought back. That was during the spring, wasn't it? Sleeping without covering anything in this blasting AC, I'm bound to catch a cold, aren't I? No, you turned the AC on yourself, right? And you fell asleep on your own, so don't blame it on me, okay? What? Stop nagging. Just apologize gracefully. Why should I, when it's your fault? When the argument reached this point, Rick brought up this conversation. You really are unappealing, always brandishing logic. Acting all high and mighty just because you're a manager, huh? What's with that tone? Our jobs are irrelevant right now. I should have married a more docile wife. In the end, Rick left with those words, heading towards the bedroom. How can he always put the blame on someone else? Was it really so wrong that I got promoted before him? Later, on my day off, I invited my friend Carol to a cafe for a chat. Men get their pride hurt in such situations, don't they? Do you think so? Is it really my fault? No, being successful at work isn't a bad thing, you know. Besides, you are the one bringing more money into the house, right, Jennifer? Well, yes, but in that case, your hubby should be grateful, huh? I guess. But I don't want to act superior just because of that, you know. I get it, I totally get it, Jennifer. As I talked with my friend, I came to a certain conclusion. Perhaps it's time for me to be patient. I hope Rick gets promoted soon. Yes, what I can do now is support Rick so he can focus on his job. Are you sure? Your job seems pretty hectic too, don't overdo it, okay? It's fine, if I can endure now, a brighter future should come. That's a wonderful way to think. Thank you. Then, let me know what happens with your hubby. Let's go out for a meal again. Yeah, let's do that. Encouraged and gaining confidence from my friend's praise, I was determined to give my all both at work and home, without complaining. I resolved to make a positive report to my friend next time. I prepared meals in advance so my husband could have a tasty dinner even if he came home early, and gently woke him up when he fell asleep on the couch. Perhaps as a result of these efforts, one day, my husband suddenly brought up a shocking topic. I'm thinking of changing jobs. Changing jobs? Yeah, I want to climb up the career ladder. Wow, that's amazing. What happened all of a sudden? Well, I'm worried about our future at this rate, and I want a salary that can support a full-time housewife and children in the future. I felt tears welling up. I couldn't believe that my husband was considering such things. But in hindsight, the full-time housewife he referred to was not me. And the children were not going to be ours either. I realized this ironically when I was ecstatic to share this change in my husband with my friend. I contacted my friend without even anticipating such a future. I have some good news. What is it? I want to hear. Rick is planning to look for a new job to advance his career. Really? That's great. And he mentioned something about having children in the future. Oh, that's wonderful. Let's have a meal and chat about it leisurely sometime. Oh, but you might be quite busy until Rick finds a new job, right? Yeah. Once Rick's job hunting is successfully finished, I'll invite you. Sure, I'm looking forward to it. Since then, I devoted myself to supporting my husband's job search. I finished work early, sent suits for cleaning, and went shopping for resumes. And 2 months later, we received some good news. The final interview the other day went well. I got the job at that company. Yay! Congratulations! It was a slightly larger company in the same industry as the current one. With his experience being recognized, my husband was set to join the company. I started off as an entry-level employee, but honestly, there seems to be more future at this new company than my current one. I believe it will allow me to climb up the ladder. I felt a sense of relief and started looking forward to our future life. When things settled down, I invited my friend out for dinner. My husband said he had a welcoming party at his new company that day and left the house, so I thought it would be okay to stay out a little late once in a while. Instead of the usual cafe, I chose to splurge a bit and took her to a high-end restaurant. The restaurant had a chic ambience with a view of the night skyline, and it was filled with couples everywhere. Do we stand out a bit? No way, let's indulge ourselves once in a while. Yeah, right. And so, we made a toast. So, the real reason I brought you here is Rick got a new job. Congrats! What kind of company? Both my friend and I were as happy as if it were our own achievement, celebrating with a delicious dinner. Apparently, he has a welcome party at the new company today. Oh, that sounds great. Just then, the chandeliers dimmed down, and romantic music started flowing throughout the now dimmed restaurant. What's happening? Maybe a birthday surprise or something? Nice. This is exciting. Yeah, it gets us excited too. I wonder who it is. As we were looking around, we saw a waiter walking towards a distant table with a large bouquet of roses. We could see a couple sitting there. The man had his back towards us, and we couldn't see him, but the woman seemed very charming. "Oh, it's not a birthday, it's a proposal." "Yeah, I'm getting nervous just watching." Next, while the audience and the staff were watching with bated breath, the man said loudly, "I promise to make you happy for the rest of your life. So, will you marry me?" "Yes." "Whoa!" As applause broke out, I felt something was off. That voice, it sounds just like. "What's wrong, Jennifer? You look upset." My friend noticed my facial expression and asked me immediately, "Well, that voice just now. It sounded exactly like Rick." "What?" "Congratulations!" My faint voice, almost drowned out by the joyous atmosphere and celebratory music, was caught by my friend. "Let's go." "Huh?" With a stern look, my friend grabbed my hand. Pretending to be casual onlookers, we moved closer to the couple who were being photographed by the surrounding people. As we got to a position where we could see the man's face, my mouth fell open and I couldn't close it. My friend, who knew what my husband looked like, had the same expression on her face. It was unmistakably my husband. My friend silently held my hand tightly. When I looked at her, she nodded firmly. Her eyes seemed to say, "I'm here for you." Strangely, her actions gave me strength. I can't just stand here and watch. The next moment, I gently let go of my friend's hand and started clapping grandly. And then, I said louder than anyone else in the place, "It would be nice if it could happen this time, huh? But it seems like that promise from last time is going down the drain today." "What? You?" Noticing me, my husband's face drained of all color. It was as if he was witnessing a miraculous blue rose. "A friend of yours?" To these innocent words from the woman who likely knew nothing, I gave her the honest answer. "I am the wife of this man who just became your fiancé. Perhaps, I'm also your comrade who received the same gift of 108 red roses from him?" At these words, the woman who seemed to have understood everything, hurled the bouquet she just received at my husband. And remarkably, the thorns of the roses hit squarely on my husband's face. He let out a pathetic scream. "Ah!" The celebratory mood that was present until now changed instantly. The people around us started whispering, clearly uncomfortable. "What is going on? Explain!" The mistress approached my husband with tears in her eyes. Then, my husband murmured while looking down, "I am indeed married." "No way!" But, it's okay. I'll definitely get a divorce." "What?" Caught in the middle, my husband stumbled over his words, attempting to deceive, and now introduced the woman to me. This girl, she was promoted to fill your position at my old job. She's a temp." "Huh? You got involved with a junior in your own department?" As I glared at him in disbelief, my husband continued his strange verbosity. "Because, unlike you, Stella is somewhat naive and adorable, yet kind. It makes me want to protect her. That's why I even changed jobs. It even boosted my motivation for future tasks." At my husband's foolish reasoning, the mistress seemed to soften a bit. At this point, being genuinely pleased made me confirm that this woman indeed lacked a few screws. Along with that, I was utterly dumbfounded by my husband's vivid train of thought, which led him to change jobs just because he became serious about his mistress. In a sense, these two seemed like a perfect match for each other. I even had the leisure to think so. I understand, then, we're getting a divorce. Are you sure? To the clearly foolish couple before me, who brightened up easily, I added, "Of course, I'll be claiming alimony from both of you." Then, both of their expressions darkened just as visibly. "No, no way! Please forgive me! I didn't know Rick was married until just now." "That's right. Stella isn't at fault. Besides, there's no evidence that I cheated." "Evidence? Didn't you just confess right now?" "This doesn't count as evidence. There are no photos or videos, nothing that lasts." Facing my husband, who seemed oddly triumphant for some reason, I heard footsteps from behind me. "Here, look this way." "Hey, stop that. You said infidelity isn't proven without photos or videos?" "Don't worry, I've got it all recorded." "Carol." There stood my friend, grinning with a smartphone in hand. "Hand it over." "Hey!" My husband reached out to snatch the smartphone from my friend's hand. "It's futile. Look! I'm not the only paparazzo here." As my husband directed his gaze around following her words, he saw other customers in the restaurant also pointing their smartphones at him. "Damn it!" At this point, my husband finally seemed to admit defeat, hanging his head low. "Excuse me, staff and everyone, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. I will pay for the trouble I've caused in the store." As I bowed deeply, No, it's not your fault, please don't worry about it. We will charge the customers who planned this surprise." "Oh, I see. Thank you. Please do that." Then, with my friend, I bowed to the people around us and paid the bill before leaving the store. Later on, I officially divorced my husband. I then visited a law firm with evidence taken by my friend, demanding $30,700 from my ex-husband and $17,000 from the mistress. After that, fearing my presence at the same company, the mistress quickly resigned. I learned when my in-laws came to apologize later that, despite their objections, my ex-husband had indeed remarried the mistress. But of course, it only worked out at first. Having depleted his assets due to the hefty compensation, my ex-husband went into debt and apparently had a big fight with the mistress who quit her job without thinking about the consequences. Yet unable to even muster the moving expenses to live separately, the two seem to have degraded to a relationship that's less than roommates, no longer speaking to each other. Moreover, my in-laws rejected my ex-husband when he came to them describing his situation and seeking support. I couldn't help but snicker, perhaps those two really are a match for each other in a way. On the other hand, I used the compensation money I received from my ex-husband and his mistress to move into a luxury apartment close to my workplace. Work is going smoothly, and I'm leading a life without any inconveniences. The house is so spacious. Right? Feel free to relax today. Thank you. And with a smile, I locked eyes with my friend, thinking that being single isn't too bad if I can live this freely. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. If you resonated with the content, please leave a positive rating and a comment.